Welcome back to Art Club. We've got another fun day of snowman building, not outside, like the inside kind, for our art this week. So can't wait to get started. First, we're going to need our supplies, right? So we're going to need a piece of colorful paper that's going to be our background. You can kind of get an image of what we're creating up above here. So we're going to need the colorful background paper. We're going to need a different color of paper. That's going to be the books that our snowmen will be holding. We're going to need white paper, glue, scissors, and then stuff to decorate and color in with. So markers, crayons, oil pastels. You could even find found objects to glue on as well. The decorating part, that's where you get to get really creative. So let's begin with all of our fun. As a reminder, if you need to pause at any point or rewind, feel free to do so. Take this at your own pace. So I'm going to start off with my background color right here. I'm going to do blue today for this project. And next I'm going to get out my white piece of paper. This is going to be for both my snow hills and my snowmen. So you can notice on your paper there's a shorter edge and a longer edge. Right now we're going to be focused on using the shorter edges. So I'm going to take this and rip it across. I want to have some bumpiness to it too, so don't get too worried about tearing it really nice and straight. We kind of want some of those rigid edges there, like that, okay? And I'm going to do the same thing with this side. There we go. Okay, so I want to glue these down to my background, but I need to make sure that like when I glue it down, I don't want to see like spaces in between. And I need to glue my background one down first. So I'm just kind of placing these like what looks good. That looks pretty good right there, right? So I'm going to hold this one in place. I'm just going to give my back piece of paper a little mark so I know where that needs to come down to. Okay? So you can see I've just marked it right there. That way I'll know where to glue it down, because right now I got to put the glue on it. Now I want to put glue down, around, all the way, but I don't want to glue right up at the edge. You'll see why in just a little bit. So for now, I'm going to take my glue, I'm going to go all the way to this edge, all the way to the bottom edge, all the way to the side, but then I'm not going to quite get all the way up to the top right here. So something like that would look good. You can fill it in with more glue if you want to as well. Now I'm going to be careful making sure that my bottom goes to that line, and I want to make sure it hits edge to edge. And there we go. Now I'm going to glue down the other portion of it, the foreground. Once again, I want to get all the way to the bottom, all the way to the edges. However, I do not want to hit right up at the top. We can get kind of close, but I need to save a little bit of space there for our snowmen in just a bit. Turn that around and glue it on down. Just like that. Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to set this off to the side to dry for a little bit. And now I'm going to focus on this white piece of paper. I'm going to get out something circular. I'm using the bottom half of a cup here, but we are going to want some smaller circles and some bigger circles. Between 4 and 6 circles total. It will need to be an even number, but 4 and 6 tends to work best. So I'm going to do, for this demo, I'm going to do 4 in total. Just kind of tracing around to give me an idea. You could also just cut these freehand too, but if you want them to be, you know, as nice of circles as we can make them, and about the same size. There we go. Now those aren't perfect, but they'll do. They'll do. So there's 2. I'm going to make the 2 that are this side. I'm going to freehand the smaller 2 because I don't have anything that's going to work really well. So I will just freehand those, but we're going to cut these guys out. I don't really want to see the pen line. If yours is pencil though, you could always erase it. So I'm trying to cut inside of the line that I've drawn there. And this one out too. All the way around. And I can always go back and make them look a little bit nicer if they're looking a little rough around the edges at all. But for right now, I think that looks pretty good. And now I'm going to just freehand cut out some smaller ones. So like I said, we need an even number. I'm going to do 4 for this one. I did 6 on the other example, and I'll show you guys in just a bit. You can see how this one's just a little bit smaller than that one. And if it's still feeling like, oh, it's still almost the same size, you know, you can always go in and give it a little trim as well. You want to make it more obvious that one is bigger than the other. Okay, so I've got one more small circle yet to cut. There we go. Going around and around and around. So you can see that we can do it both ways. We can either use something sort of as like a stencil to draw our circles, or we can freehand it. Either way is good. There we go. So now I've got, get that out of the way. I've got 4 in total. My next step, I'm going to actually set these kind of out of the way right now, because my next step is going to be to grab that other colorful paper, and we want to go along the short edge again, about 2 to 3 finger widths. For me, I'm going to do 2, but you might want to do 3 depending on how big your fingers are. So we want it to be like a little over an inch, maybe an inch and a half. And we're just going to cut a strip, oops, of paper along that shorter edge. There we go. Now, however many circles you've got, we're going to do half as many of these rectangles. So basically each snowman is going to be holding on to a book. So since I've got 4 circles, I only need to do 2 books. So I'm going to make them into sort of rectangular shapes like that and like that. And you can see how if I did have a total of 3 snowmen, it would be very easy to have that 3rd book, and I can cut it so it's about the same size, but they can also be different size books too. Alright, and since these are books, we're going to want to fold them in half, right? Just like how you would fold a card. So there's my little book here, and I'm going to fold this one too. There we go. And now it's time to glue these on down. So I'm going to start with my bottoms of my snowman, and I'm going to get glue all the way around to those edges, like so. And this is why we didn't want to glue all the way to the top. I'm going to kind of tuck my snowman down in there. Maybe I want it kind of resting in that little spot there. And glue that down, but you can see when it's closer up that the snowman is just kind of like tucked in behind the landscape there. So we've got the snowman bottom. Now we're going to glue down the book. So on the inside edges, sort of like we did a few classes ago, we're going to add a little glue at each of those edges there. And then when I glue it down, I want it to kind of stick out a little bit. So it looks like it's holding the book open and out. So you guys can see how it looks like it's sticking out just a little bit there. Yeah. And of course then we've got to grab the top of our snowman, put glue all the way around the head, and I'm going to tuck this down a little bit too, because that book's going to overlap just a bit. There we go. We can see we've got our snowman there. Do the same with the second. Glue all the way around. Maybe this one is down on this level, so I can just kind of pick it up a little bit. You see, almost like a little pocket right there. And glue that down. And same with my book. Get those edges again, like so. And as I glue it down, making sure it pops, excuse me, pops out a little bit. And finally, the last snowman head. Got that glue all the way around and tuck it on in there. So cute, right? So I've got two little snowmen in this scene here. You can see in this scene I've got 3 snowmen, but from here this is where I now get to decorate it and make it all cute. Maybe the snowman's gonna be kind of singing here. So there's a nice open mouth and the carrot nose sticking on up here. Find my orange marker. There it is. I'm gonna get my red marker out too because I'm gonna put a cap on the other one. So this little snowman's just singing its heart out, right? Maybe this snowman is singing as well, but not quite as big of a show there. So let's color in that little nose. Super cute. I could add some little buttons. You guys know how much I love those snowman buttons going down their bellies. That's always cute too. I could cut out little hats or color them in. I could use a white crayon or oil pastel if I wanted to do some snowflakes in the background. But from here is where we just really get to make it individualized and unique and just come up with some cute little pictures. Don't forget then as well, when you're done, to come on into our slide, click down at the bottom where it says Hall of Frame and pop on into our Hall of Frame. While you're here, check out what everybody else has been creating this week. It's so fun to see what all of our peers have been up to. So many cute little pictures as we scroll on through. Isn't that adorable? Let's see if we can go to the next one. Why isn't it letting me? Oh, because I'm in there. So you can scroll on down. So many cute ones. And then, of course, once you find an open frame, you can claim your frame by putting in your name, and then it's as simple as coming up to Insert, Image, and Camera, holding your picture on up to the Chromebook. You can even get in next to it if you want to, and that'll automatically put your picture into the slideshow. I can't wait to see all the amazingness that you come up with this for showing your creativity of how these snowmen can be interacting with their books, with each other, all the kind of decorations you might have around it. I think that they are going to turn out absolutely wonderful, and I can't wait to see them. Thanks so much for joining in. We'll see you next time.